I'm going to talk to you about today is going to be in two parts. So the first part is looking at mobile growth and the trends that we see driving this growth. And the second part is going to be about mobile advertising and how we can help kind of develop your mobile advertising strategy. So, to kick it all off, at Google, we're really focused on developing great products, mobile products for advertisers and consumers. And mobile first is a concept that we first talked about, or that Eric Schmidt first talked about, our CEO at the Mobile World Congress. And what this actually means is that our engineering teams are now focused on developing mobile products first and desktop products second. And this is just to ensure that we always have the mobile user in mind. But we're also trying to encourage marketeers like yourselves to think about mobile differently, because while it may not be your first consideration, the time is now to start thinking about it. And here are some reasons why. So in only a few years' time, we believe that the way users consume and search for information is going to change radically. So this is in 2 years' time, smartphone sales will exceed those of PC sales. That is actually absolutely huge. And it's also important because in this time, at 2012, 38% of all mobile phones will actually be smartphones. And these facts are coming from Morgan Stanley, Mary Meeker, who was mentioned in the previous presentation. And why is that important? Again, well, because having a smartphone, as you know, is like having a mini computer in your pocket. The experience now that we're having on mobile is immersive and it's rich. And that is what's going to make it an immensely powerful advertising platform. So what about users? Well, users are choosing the mobile internet, with half of all new internet connections actually being mobile, and this was discussed at the Mobile World Congress again as well. And why are users going to the mobile internet? Well, because mobile users are busy, because it's convenient, they always have their mobiles on them. And thirdly, because again, it's a really great experience. And this is our own kind of internal research that we've done, and we've estimated that if you have an iPhone, on average, you are searching 50 times more than you would if you had a WAP phone. That's pretty understandable, right? But an amazing fact along with this is the fact that we've seen queries from iPhones and similar devices, so queries just coming from iPhones and similar devices, rise 60% from Q1 on the previous quarter. And I'm sure you'll agree, that's a staggering amount of growth in such a short period of time. Sorry about this. No. Okay. There's always going to be technical difficulties, so bear with me. And carrying on from that, and this is kind of the last major point, that within 4 years' time, mobile internet users will outpace desktop internet users. Think about how that's going to radically change your business. You think about the volumes you're getting on desktop at the moment. And that's why we strongly believe that the time is now to start thinking about mobile and start thinking about your strategy. So how did we get to this point? Well, we believe that there are 3 main trends that are driving this, and you will have heard them in the previous presentation, but you can never get enough of them. The first one is a trend that's been full force in my life as a technology user, and that is the trend of Moore's Law. So we are now accustomed to devices getting smaller, getting faster, and getting cheaper. This is something that I know it's not kind of a great slide, but if you think about it, the functionality that was once impossible is now very much possible, with computing and memory evolving at such a fast pace. And the second trend, and it's a more recent trend, is the trend of connectivity. You've heard a lot about it in the previous presentation, but again, it's very, very important. So for the past few decades, we've been going through various kind of computing cycles. And with each cycle, becomes 10 times more users and 10 times more devices. Now this graph doesn't really do what I'm talking about justice. So I'll give you an example. Think back to 1995. If someone said to you in 1995, every device would be connected to every other device, the more technical you were, the more skeptical you were. That's a pretty crazy thing to say in 1995. The high watermark, the limit in 1995 for connections was 1,000 per server. And now we have millions per server, and we have billions of devices connected. Everything is connected. And the third trend, and one that Google has been helping to drive in a pretty powerful way, is that of the cloud. And when I say the cloud, and most of you may know this, I mean data centers with vast computing resources that can be applied to a single task. So I know everyone knows about the cloud, but an example of this would be something like Google Docs, where several people around the world could be working on the same spreadsheet in the cloud, collaborating at the same time. They're not tied down. So if you combine those trends of computing, connectivity, and the cloud, and you apply them to your software, your design philosophy for engineering software, it not only changes the way you think, but what you build. So how does this apply to a phone? Right, so you think about any smartphone that you have. Most of you probably have them on you now. What do they have? Well, they definitely have a microphone. They probably have a camera. They probably have a GPS chip as well. And these are fairly unsophisticated kind of functionality. Look, my Canon SLR from like 6 years ago is better than my camera on my phone. But when you apply computing connectivity in the cloud, and you change your design philosophy, you start seeing the camera as an eye, something that can analyze visually the world around it, the microphone as an ear that can interpret the human spoken word, and GPS as a personal location device which can allow for hyper-local targeting. So, to illustrate the power of the cloud, this brings me on to my demonstrations. So, bearing in mind we are live, it could go wrong, it probably won't. If it does, just applaud me anyway, because it looks good on the video. Right, so, can everyone see that?
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. So it was my first time in Zurich, and yesterday I came in and I worked all day in the office, and I actually wanted to go out for dinner. I'm a vegetarian, so I knew my options were limited. So I wanted to search for a restaurant, but I wanted to search by voice. So we have something called voice search, you can see right here, and this is what I did. Vegetarian restaurants in Zurich. So what happened? It's absolutely nailed it right there. So, as you can see, it was too fast for me to even speak. What's happening there is the audio of my voice is being sent to these data centers where servers are crunching on it and voting to produce a result, like this. And in a fraction of a second. It was too fast for me even to think about it. So, sorry, let me just get that. Okay, it's not working with me. So I'm going to my vegetarian restaurant. I'm in the taxi. I want to see if my friend wants to come along with me as well, but everyone knows that typing in a taxi is pretty hard, right? Especially with like a touch screen, it's pretty hard. So all I did was I thought I'd text him via voice. So when I click compose, I just click this speaker here button. Hey, would you like to join me for dinner? Right, again, absolutely perfect. thank God. Yeah, it does always work, don't worry, it does always work. But again, so much easier than typing, right? It's amazing. This is the power of the cloud. Now, another application that I like to use when I'm out and about is something called Google Goggles. Has anybody heard of Google Goggles before? Yeah, at the back, I know. So Google Goggles is a great application. We launched it a few months ago, and we call it a visual search application, which allows me to search, not by speaking, not by typing, but by taking a picture. So, right. Well, just so you know, I was in London the other day, and I was walking around, and there was actually a poster for an exhibition, an art exhibition. And on the poster, I saw this. And it was really, really interesting, but I didn't know who it was. I didn't know who had done this. So I took a picture. So what I'm going to do is it's on my laptop screen here. I promise, look, in real time. This is what Google Goggles looks like. Quick, quick, quick. And there it is. Kandinsky. He did it. Brilliant, right? So there I have it. I've got my image. It's returned it. I can go onto the Wikipedia page. I can learn that Kandinsky was actually born in Moscow, December, in 1866. Abstract expressionist. So again, another great tool to kind of impress your friends. But really, okay, these demos are fun, right? They're really fun, they get people going, but you're probably asking yourself, well, what does this mean to me? I'm a retailer, I'm a marketeer. Well, the question is, how do you respond to this? Because your users are now becoming really accustomed to new ways of searching, like this. The tools that they have, they're seeking out different ways to search, and your challenge is how to respond to this. And so, my last demo, the riskiest of all, not really, is Google Translate. Has anybody heard of Google Translate? Well, you are in for a treat. So, as we are in Zurich, and I'm back in the taxi again, and I can't speak German, even though my last name is Rosenberg. I can't actually speak German, it's a dying shame. And I wanted to know how much the taxi cost. Of course it's on the meter, but I wanted to say it. I wanted to, you know, I want to feel like one of the locals. So here we go. Google Translate. So what is here? I can actually input it text. I can write what I want to say. Or I can just say it. How much does it cost? There we go. How much does it cost? That makes sense in German, right? That, yeah? Right? Okay, pretty good, pretty good. But again, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, I actually want to say this, but I can't pronounce it. Well, I'm not going to embarrass myself any further. But what this allows you to do is if I hit the speaker, yeah, does that make sense in German? Okay, awesome, awesome. So again, just these different tools, these different ways of searching, a different way to help your consumers. Very, very powerful stuff. So that's the end of the sexy demos. I'm sorry about that. But this brings me on to kind of my main point and the more serious point and the most important point of this presentation is mobile advertising. We at Google believe that there is immense promise for mobile advertising, for advertisers like yourselves, like retailers. What is happening there? Something funky. That's not, I didn't actually make that, that's just extra that you'll get. So think about consumers who are really growing transactions through their mobile site. So we've got eBay up here. where it's estimated, this comes from CNBC, a report that maybe eBay have done themselves, I think, is that Christmas last year, 1.5 million items were purchased via mobile during Christmas last year, and that is a sale every 2 seconds. That is astonishing. And our own research has shown that the desktop habits that we've kind of acquired over the years translate quite well into mobile browsing habits, because 50% of people who use the internet on their mobile actually start off with a search. And our own data reveals that when looking at the top 1,000 commercial queries, and when I say commercial queries, I mean shopping related, so especially poignant for retailers as yourself, that these top 1,000 shopping queries coming from mobile have grown over 3 years, 2,500% growth. And this graph in itself is pretty powerful, I think you agree. And this is our own internal data. This is a study, this is a US study. I know it's a US study, no one here's from the US, but it's very, very important. So this study shows that the percent of people who have done or would consider taking action on their mobile phone. So 60% of iPhone users said that they recalled seeing an ad, and 38% of them went on to take action. So what did they do? Well, we've got 35% opted in for email, for info, 34% made in-store purchases, 32% opted in for text message info, and 24% actually did purchase something on their phone. So this is a US study from Universal Mechanic and Bright Kite. So looking back on what we've seen previously, you've seen the... You've seen this slide a lot. You've seen the growth. You've seen the potential, and you've seen now that advertisers are willing to take action on their phone. But it's not just online that mobile's changing the game. It's offline as well. Think about the barcode. Everyone knows about the barcode. The humble barcode is now being embraced by your consumer with apps, as you've seen, like Google Shopper, like Barcode Scanner. They're doing in-store comparisons. Now, you saw a bit of the video in the last presentation, but it's always good to have sound with videos. So, I'm just going to show you that full video just so you know exactly what I'm talking about. Is the sound okay?
Hi, I'm Daniel Swicken, a software engineer at Google. I'd like to tell you about a new product we've been working on. It's called Google Shopper, and it lets you find products by cover art, barcodes, and voice search. Check it out. Just point your phone at a book, CD, or DVD cover, and Shopper will recognize it. You don't even need to press a button. And here we go. Here's a list of search results. You can tap on one to get prices, reviews, and specs about that item. For other kinds of products, you can just point your phone at its barcode. But what if there is no barcode, or you're not in a store? Just say what you're looking for, and we can probably find it for you. Blu-ray player. When you want to save a product for later, just click the star to save it to your shopping list. You can also visit the history screen to run a search again, or see products you've already viewed. And don't worry if you have an iffy network connection. The products you've seen are saved on your phone, so they're available anytime. Google Shopper is available now on all Android devices. Try it the next time you're out shopping.
Okay, so that is the kind of functionality we're talking about, and the fact that your consumers are actually out there doing this. They're pushing you to the limit. In your store, comparing your prices, seeing where else they can get it cheaper. And this is not like a scare tactic, it's more of an opportunity. So I'm just going to go quickly through our 4 principles of developing a mobile advertising strategy. This is kind of our best practice, if you will. So the first one is be clear. Really obvious, right? Be clear. develop a strategy. But with mobile, it's very, very important. So what do you want to achieve with it? Do you want to generate leads? Do you want to engage in brand awareness? Whatever you want to do on mobile, you have to have a strategy first and foremost. And you guys know that. The second is be ready. We've seen the mobile internet usage growth, right? And is your site ready for that? Is your business ready for that? So I'm going to look into a bit of be ready and a site that we think is really good and kind of demonstrates all best practices for mobile users and makes it really easy for mobile users is a little site called Amazon. Don't know if you've heard of it. So when I go to Amazon, straight away, that's pretty clear, isn't it? It's simple, but it's effective. So right in the middle, I've got recommendations to me, my own personal recommendations straight in the middle. I've got large touchpads everywhere. And this site is what we like to call at Google running on rails. Does anybody know what running on rails means? So it means this straight up and down movement. You know, on some smartphones, you're like side to side and you're minimizing and it's all pretty tough. This makes it really useful, really easy for the mobile user to navigate. Obviously, Amazon is an online business. It's at the core of their business, and they've expertly adapted that to mobile. Now, the third principle, is be found. So be found is really, really important. Do not make the mistake of thinking what you're doing on desktop, your ads on desktop, your site that can just be kind of transferred over to mobile. There's an advertiser, there's a case study, and I'm going to go through this with you case by case. But before I do that, the principles of be found is first and foremost, if you want to have a marketing campaign fully focused on mobile, and this is with your search ads, is to separate out your campaigns. Once you have a separate campaign, only then can you have a mobile kind of campaign totally focused. So what are the benefits of a separate campaign? Well, first of all, you can create mobile-specific messaging. You can put call to action, specific mobile calls to action in your creative. Second of all, you can amend your keyword lists. So think about how a mobile user is searching on mobile. We've done research that shows that mobile users normally type in 3 words per query or less. So maybe stick to that. Think about misspellings. The limitations of some keyboards makes it so that sometimes you get what we call mistypes instead of misspellings. And thirdly, budgeting and tracking. Really, really important. Understanding the ROI of mobile. And the only way you can do that is by separating out your campaign. So the fourth one is be smart. Be smart is one of the most important. Well, they're all important. It's hard to pin down which one's the most important. But be smart is leading on from what I was saying. Looking at your data, seeing who is coming through into your site from mobile. Whether it's installing conversion tracking, whether it's installing Google Analytics, you need to understand where these users are coming from. So devices like iPhones or Android devices. Really understand that performance. So I'm going to dig a little into what we mean by be clear. So an advertiser who wasn't ready but who wanted to be found is EasyJet. Now, EasyJet has been slated early on in this presentation, and I want to bring them back, okay? EasyJet are coming back in this. And what they did was a marketing manager at EasyJet came to their Google account manager and said, oh, I don't really understand what I'm getting from mobile. I want to know what I'm getting. So then we said, well, what you need to do, if you really want to understand, is separate out your campaign. Put in that mobile-specific messaging. Put in those keywords. Track it. With AdWords now, if you want to do a mobile campaign, you can target by device. You can target the iPhone separately. So if you have an iPhone app, you can promote it. You can target Android devices separately, Palm Pre's, and also iPads now. You can target by network carrier. So in the UK, we have people like Vodafone, O2, 3, Virgin. You can track it by there as well. So EasyJet did all these things. And what were the results? Well, their click-through rates was 6 times higher on mobile than on desktop. For every £1 they spent, they got £11 back. And the most interesting fact about it is 38% of bookings on mobile were for flights that departed within 10 days, versus only 13% of desktop. So that's again emphasizing the difference of the mobile user. They're a totally different breed, sort of. It's a different device. It's a different way of consuming. So the end of the story is that the marketing manager actually got sign-off to develop a mobile site. So I'm just going to show you EasyJet. That should be loading. It's going so well. Okay. So this is, again, what we're talking about. They weren't ready, but they wanted to understand. They were found. But look at this. That's quite good. Just there. That almost looks like an app. It's clear. People can use it. It's pretty concise. And if it's running on Rails, it might just work. I don't know what EasyJet are going to do with this, but that's just another example of what they could do. So we get a lot of advertisers who kind of run up to us and they go, I want to build an app. And then we're like, why do you want to build an app? They said, because my competitors built an app, quick, I need to build an app, so I'm building an app. And that's fair enough. You want to build an app? That's fine. Is it in your strategy? Will it work? There's nothing to say that you can't do both at the same time either, if that's what your goals are. And an advertiser who has done that, and someone who we all know, Best Buy. So there's a lot of text on this slide, but just the most important point is to note that Best Buy did this in parallel. They have a mobile-specific website that works really well. It's running on Rails. You know, it looks a bit like an app even. They also have an iPhone app. They also have an Android app. They also have their 12th force, so that's their Twitter helping cause. So these are all working in conjunction to help the consumer from the research stage to the conversion stage, and it really worked for them. So you don't need to read this out because it will all be sent out to you, but the most important point is 28% of consumers visiting the mobile platform use it to make a purchase. That is huge, and it's working really, really well. You need to start thinking about how you can cater to your customers. I saw the senior director at Best Buy present this, and she said something really, really quite interesting, is that it's not about when you're a retailer saying everyone has to come to my party. You have to go to the customer now. So let's have a look at your objectives. What if your objective is that you want to engage, you want to be found by people, right? You want to be found, but it's hard to convert them on your site. It's hard to convert them online. Well, what you can now do, we've got an ad format called click-to-call. Has anybody heard of click-to-call before? So what essentially is, you're looking at it right now, I'll show you in demo, is a phone number within the ad that when the user clicks on it, they get directly connected to your business. This has proved to be hugely successful. I'll show you what it looks like in real time. So right there, can everyone see that? That phone number? I click on it, it will take me to the dial screen, and there we go. I can straight away call that advertiser. That's pretty powerful stuff, and it's been working really well. Or what if your objective is to direct customers to your branch network? Because most retailers, they have branches of stores. Well, we've got a clever ad format called location extensions. And it's worth noting that we will only target those users who have opted in for this service. I know there's a lot of nervousness about privacy and all that, but these customers have actually opted in to allow us GPS. So what it does is that when a user is searching for you and is near you, we will be able to show the right ad at the right time. So just to demonstrate this, if I was looking for a loan in Hamburg, like we all are, you can see up there we've got the address. We've also got click to call as well. So the address is just here. And if I click on that, I've got an expandable map. It shows me where to get my loan in Hamburg. Now that's really great because again, this is what we're talking about with hyperlocal targeting. And the best thing is you don't have to pay for people clicking to expand the app. You only pay when people go through to your website. Similarly with click to call, the number there, once I click on it, it's the cost of your CPC. It's no extra cost. Or perhaps, oh, we've missed a slide there. But whatever you're doing, whatever your objective is, you need to think about it first and foremost. You need to make it clear. Now, I'm going to show you, that was a little sneak preview of tests that we are running in the US. So this test is mobile coupons, and as retailers, this is going to be extremely exciting for you. I think we may be looking to roll it out later this year around Europe. Mobile coupons. So what it is I've only got a screen grab of it because I can't get it up there, is that when you have an ad up there, and they've got click to call there, they've got the map, but they've also got a plus box there that says offer. Can you see that? When a user clicks that plus box, out comes a coupon. A coupon that they can take to your store, show at the till, and they get the discount there. Or a code that they can type in. That's pretty powerful stuff, coupled along with the map. But what if I'm a user and I want to go to your store, but I've got to do something in between and I want to keep this coupon? You can also email it to your friends, you can save it, you can text it. Really, really exciting for mobile users. And the next most exciting test that we are doing is something called sponsored layers. Now, I want to be in San Francisco. Not right now, but here I am. And not many people know this, but I'm a huge fan of Taco Bell. I love Taco Bell. And when I'm in San Francisco, I want nothing more than a Taco Bell. But where do I find Taco Bell? Well, first of all, I'm going to search for them. It's already up there because I love it so much. And so what happens when I'm searching for it is that I get this ad up here. Can everyone see that? And as soon as I click on that ad, boom, did anyone see that? Little icons, Taco Bell icons appear. They populate the map to show me where my nearest Taco Bell is. Isn't that great? No, but seriously, it really is, because the icons themselves, you can personalize it, and it's proved a pretty successful test. What's also interesting about this is it's added it to my layers. There. So I can actually turn it off if I don't want to find Taco Bell. But I always want to find Taco Bell. So this means that anywhere I am in the world, I'll have that layer on, and I can get my Taco Bell anywhere. So couple that, sponsored layers, couple that with the power of the coupon, and you've got some hyper-local targeting there. Really effective in keeping up with your customer. Or perhaps, and the last thing I'm going to talk about, is you want to engage in brand awareness with your customer. Well, we've got a really cool ad format which basically allows you to target apps in our publisher network. So you can pick an app that's relevant to you, or you can run the whole of the network and put a text or display ad, banner ad, on top of it. It'll come at the top or the bottom. And that is really cool, because it allows for real contextual kind of marketing. But sometimes the banner's not enough, right? Sometimes for branding, it's not enough. So I'm going to show you something that Volkswagen did. So I've got my backgrounds app. I'm really into cars, as you can see, cars. And can anyone see that app? Drop down, and there you go. They've done it beautifully as well. Just a simple picture of a great car. Is that a great car? Yeah, it's a great car. And you notice that we've got arrows there. So if I didn't want to see that, I'd just put it away. But I do want to see it now. So again, they're not intrusive. The user will choose to drop down and see these ads. And again, just really quickly, if I just click on that, it will take me to a great, running on rails, as you can see, website. And Volkswagen are clever because they're not like, oh, people are going to want to buy a car on their mobile phone now. I mean, I know they do in Japan. They do, that's true. But they're like, come on, let's be realistic now. No one's going to want to buy a car yet. They soon will. But at the bottom, running on rails, they've got contact a dealer there. Because they know it's going to be easier to upsell on the phone, which is why they put something like that in there, which is why we've developed ad formats like click to call. So we've come to the last part of my presentation. And if you're going to remember anything from this presentation, first of all, remember that my demos went really, really well. But second of all, be clear. What is your strategy? What are you trying to achieve? Second of all, be ready. Is your site ready? Is your business ready? Third of all, be found. What did we learn from be found? Separate out a campaign. Test it. Just test it. Test and learn and iterate. Follow those best practices. It's easy. You just create mobile-specific messaging in your ad creative. You amend the keywords to fit the mobile user, and you can budget as well. You understand the ROI. And be smart. Again, analytics, conversion. You don't have to use ours, although it is recommended. But you can use it, external parties. But whatever you're doing, test it and learn. Because if you don't test, you won't learn. So I hope that was useful. That's me done. Thank you very much. Any of you have barcode scanner? That is my business card, actually there. So have a go. Or I actually have proper paper cards there on the table. Okay, thank you very much.